The votes are in, and your election headquarters is here for you with results from across mid-Michigan. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sherry Jones. We have the very latest numbers on more than a dozen local races that we've been keeping you up on now for months. We have a team of reporters and anchors in tonight to bring you all the updates from across Lansing and Jackson. We start in Lansing tonight, where voters chose a new mayor for the first time in 12 years. City Council member Judy Von Kark and State Representative Andy Shore squared off to take over for Mayor Virg Bonero. Andy Shore wins in a landslide, taking more than 70% of the vote. We go now live to our Jorma Durand at Lansing Brewing Company, where Mayor-elect Andy Shore is celebrating his win. Jorma, how's it going out there?
It's going amazing if you're a part of the Shore team. I'm with now Mayor-elect of Lansing, Andy Shore. Andy, you told your supporters on stage once you realized you won. This started 9 months ago for you. Tell me about tonight.
Well, it did. It started 9 months ago. We had a great time, talking to voters and sharing my vision, my leadership style. And tonight, the voters really responded. They responded to everything that we had talked about, that they had shared with me and I had shared with them. And now we're ready to go and do it. We're ready to set up the next 2 months and then start on January 1st and go and create strong neighborhoods and create jobs and work with our schools, fix the roads and ensure safety. Everything we talked about, now we got to go do it. And I'm excited for it.
Going and doing it, you also told your supporters it starts tomorrow.
It does start tomorrow. Tomorrow we start setting up the transition team. I've got time in the morning where we're going to collect yard signs and then we're going to start meeting, and then I have legislative session because we have bills to vote on. So it's going to still be busy. It's a different kind of busy, but it all starts tomorrow, and we start the next 4 years immediately.
It's easier when you're picking up the yard signs on the winning side, correct? All right. Well, we appreciate your time so much, and there you have it, Sherry, the new mayor-elect of Lansing, Andy Shore. Back to you.
Thank you, Jorma. We're going to send it over to Aaron Dimmick, who's live in our Jackson Bureau for the results on the mayoral race there. Aaron, things got a little fierce down the stretch. How did it turn out?
Well, Sherry, after months of political drama, Jackson is getting a new mayor. That's right, Derek Dobies has unseated the current mayor, Bill Jors. Here's a look at the final results from the election. Dobies was victorious, getting 55% of the vote, beating Jors by more than 400 votes. Dobies got a big reaction from supporters at his campaign party. The mayor-elect has served on the city council for 6 years and is currently the vice mayor. Dobies thanked volunteers for getting out a positive message that he says resonated with Jackson voters.
Worked the streets, went door to door, made phone calls, talked about building a Jackson that works for all of us, where no one gets left behind, no one gets left out. And I think that people responded to it, and I think that that's reflected in the votes tonight. I want to continue to have that dialogue and be an open door to help solve some of our biggest problems that we face.
I'll have the results of the Jackson City Council races coming up for you in just a few minutes. Back to you in Lansing.
All right, thank you, Aaron. East Lansing says it's failing financially and asked voters to tack on a new tax to help right the ship. Well, Alexandra Illich has been keeping an eye on those election results all night long. She joins us now live from the newsroom. Allie, what's the verdict?
Well, Sherry, this ballot proposal calls for a 1% income tax for people who live in the city and a 0.05% tax for non-residents who work in East Lansing. Another proposal would reduce property taxes from 17 mills to 13. Let's start first with the income tax proposal. Voters were not sold on this one. It was close for a while, but failed by around 400 votes. We talked with East Lansing Mayor Mark Meadows, along with a city resident who is against this tax, to take a listen to what both sides had to say.
It seems to me that the public has directed us in a particular direction. The options that were out there were set out by the financial health team, and we talked about them throughout this campaign. So we'll have to start planning to reduce our budget by about 10%.
We feel pretty good. We think that East Lansing voters sent a clear message to the council that they want the city to reform its budget before they ask for an income tax.
All right, let's send things to our 6 News anchor Lauren Thompson in the studio for more local results. Lauren.
Thanks, Allie. Voters in Eaton County were asked whether they're willing to pay a little more for a safety upgrade, but so far there's no official answer on whether a new 911 surcharge will be in place. With 54% of precincts reporting, a little over 5,000 voters have said yes, compared to about 3,500 who've said no. Now that puts the yes vote at about 59% so far, but there are still a lot of votes left to count. Now the surcharge would add about $1.75 to all resident phone bills, so about $21 extra a year per line, and that covers both cell phones and landlines. The money would build additional radio towers for the county dispatch and also pay for new radios and pagers for all first responders at agencies across Eaton County. Sherry.
Thank you, Lauren. 4 city council seats hang in the balance in Lansing tonight. 2 of them are at-large spots. One of those seats will continue to be held by Kathy Dunbar, who snagged 28% of the votes. The other 2 top vote getter was Peter Spatafor, who got 31%. We caught up with Peter Spatafor at the Lansing Brewing Company for his reaction to tonight's win.
It's a great night. It's a very exciting time to be a part of Lansing's future. I'm very grateful for all the votes we received and all the support over the last 8 months. The real work starts tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that.
Moving now to Lansing's 2nd Ward, incumbent Tina Houghton is losing her seat. Newcomer Jeremy Garza won by a little more than 400 votes to take over that spot. Moving now to the open seat in Lansing's 4th Ward, there was no incumbent running against Brian T. Jackson and James McClurkin. Jackson ran away with this one, taking almost 70% of the vote. Keeping with updates on city council races, there are 4 spots on the city council up for grabs tonight in Jackson. Aaron Dimmick joins us again from the Jackson Bureau with the very latest numbers there. Aaron?
Sherry, the city council races here in Jackson have been just as intense as the race for mayor, and it looks like we have 2 new council people heading to City Hall. We're starting in the 6th Ward. They had a recall election going on. Colleen Sullivan easily took home the win, beating other candidates Jeffrey Fear, Matthew Swartzlander, and John Wilson. In Jackson's 3rd Ward, Councilman Dan Greer faced off with Jeremy Alexander. This one came down to less than 24 votes, but Jeremy Alexander came through for the win. And in Jackson's 5th Ward, Councilman Andy Fraunfelker was up against Susan Murdy, and he's going back to the city council, beating Murdy with 77% of the vote. In Jackson's 1st Ward, Councilwoman Arlene Robinson won her race, defeating a man who launched a write-in campaign against her. That does it for us in Jackson. Back to you in Lansing.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, Mason schools are asking voters for nearly $70 million to upgrade buildings and security. Voters approved that bond with 53% of the vote. That decision, a little more than $280 a year for families with a home of a tax value of $100,000. The Concord school system wanted to make students even safer. They asked residents to raise their own taxes to make it happen. The district wanted to raise $5 million over 23 years for a variety of improvements. The biggest project would be new entrances to the high school and shared elementary middle school building. Voters there agreed. The millage passed by a vote of 495 to 334. All right, Alexander Illich has an update now for us from the newsroom on a tax proposal that could affect everyone in Ingham County. Allie?
That's right, Sherry. This ballot proposal establishes separate tax limitations for Ingham County, the townships, and the intermediate school district. Now, at last check, it was a really tight race, but with 87% of precincts reporting, the yes camp was leading with 52% of the vote. The 2 sides are separated by about 1,200 votes. We're keeping an eye on that race, and we'll update you on our website with the latest. And the results are in for the proposal that would allow for the sale of the Cooley Hayes House. That's the building that used to house the Michigan's Women's Hall of Fame. Tonight, voters gave that sale the green light. 58% of voters cast their ballots in favor of this proposal. Money from the sale would be used for improvements to city parks and the recreation system. Sherry, I'll send things back to you in the studio for results on Lansing's city clerk.
Thank you, Allie. Let's keep it in Lansing for the next results. We have the winner of the city clerk race. Chris Swope won by one of the widest margins of any local race. He took 86% of the vote to cruise on to yet another term. And we caught up with him less than an hour ago to get his reaction on getting a big thumbs up for his work as city clerk.
It feels great. You know, we have put together, I work with a wonderful team. We've put together programs to make sure the election workers are well trained, to make sure that voters get in and out on election day, and to make sure that our city government is as open as we can be.
So we've given you the results of the mayoral races in Lansing and Jackson. Now let's get the latest on 3 other votes for mayor in mid-Michigan. Lauren Thompson joins us again live in our studio with the latest numbers there. Lauren?
Well, Sherry, we start in Grand Ledge, where incumbent Mayor Calman Smith faced a challenger as he looked to continue his leadership of the city. The results tonight show he will keep his job. Nearly 1,000 people voted, and Smith ended up with 58% of the support as 562 votes were cast for him. He beat out Michael Cole, who earned 408 votes, or 42%. Now, Eaton Rapids had an interesting race for mayor as former police chief Paul Molesky faced off against incumbent Stephen Platty. Take a look. The office will be changing hands, with all districts reporting Molesky pulled in 498 votes, beating out current mayor Platty by nearly 40%. And there's a new mayor in town in Olivet as well. 2 women went head-to-head to take over for outgoing Mayor Gary Peterson. As you can see, Olivet College professor Laura Barlin-Moss beat out Commissioner Deb Maxwell for the spot. And it's a familiar face back at the helm for people who live in Olivet. Barlin-Moss is returning to office. She was previously mayor from 2001 to 2005. Now we have all these results and all other mid-Michigan races right at the top of our website, WLNS.com. Sherry, back to you.
Thanks, Lauren. Here's an update now on another major mayoral race in our state. Flint Mayor Karen Weaver is easily fending off 17 challengers in her recall election. Weaver took more than half the votes. She had to defend her seat over a controversial contract for trash collection. Weaver has been at the helm throughout Flint's water crisis. And we have new numbers out of Detroit, where 2 mayors, Mike Duggan is squaring off with a state senator whose father was the city's first black mayor. Voters overwhelmingly sided with the incumbent. Duggan took more than 70% of the vote to win his 2nd term. And those are just some of the races we're watching across mid-Michigan. You're going to find all the results from your area on the front page of our website, WLNS.com.
This is Weather First from Storm Tracker 6. Brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people.
Well, it is quiet across mid-Michigan tonight weather-wise, but we have got some big changes in store over the coming days. So seasonal right now, upper 20s and lower 30s below freezing. Satellite radar, no major storm systems anywhere nearby. Few showers to our south and a few clouds we're watching to our northwest. And oh yeah, by the way, getting some reports of folks seeing the northern lights out tonight, kind of just on the north side of that red line, obviously. But that includes mid-Michigan, so take a look outside after the newscast tonight and see if you can spot those kind of ramping up throughout the course of the evening hours. Now, other than that, as I said, it's very quiet, no precipitation out there for us tonight. Precision cast, we're awaiting this cold front to our northwest to move in. 7 o'clock, it's still well to our northwest. Really, tomorrow looks like a fairly nice day. Temperatures climb into the mid-40s. We get some sunshine out there. This front, though, it means business. This is going to be a very strong cold front as it begins to make its way through the area on Thursday. By Thursday morning, you see on the north side of this front, there's snowfall right along the front, some rain showers. So a chance of rain showers through around midday or so. Then temperatures begin to fall into the afternoon, and we get some snow showers in mid-Michigan through 5 o'clock. Now, we're not expecting any accumulation. Don't worry about that. But temperatures will likely be in the upper 20s to right around 30 degrees by 5 o'clock, and it will be breezy, so you'll definitely feel the change out there. High pressure will settle in as we move into Friday afternoon, and that means tranquil weather for Friday and Saturday before we get a little more precipitation in the forecast by late Saturday evening. That too could start as a little wintry mix before it changes to rain showers as we move into Saturday night and Sunday. Temperatures tonight, upper 20s, right around 30, pretty uniform, right along the state line, still just above the freezing mark. Live conditions right now in St. John's, temperature 34 degrees, humidity 77%, west winds at around 4 miles per hour. Our WLNS tower cam 32 here at the studios, humidity 90%, winds are calm. Grand Ledge tower cam temperature also 30 degrees, calm winds and humidity high at 88%. Jackson, Cam, quiet weather, temperature 29 degrees, calm winds currently. As we check out the view on our Hillsdale Tower, Cam, 30 also the temperature and calm winds. So that's the good news, is at least there's no wind chill to deal with for now. Tonight's forecast mostly clear, low temperature 26 degrees. It'll be cooling out there. Tomorrow morning we'll start at around 26, by noontime up to 40. And by around 4 o'clock, high temperatures tomorrow, 45 degrees, which is a bit below average. Normal highs close to 50 degrees this time of the year. Our 6-day forecast, 44 Thursday, but that's going to occur during the late morning hours. Temperatures fall in the afternoon. 31, that's it for a high temperature on Friday. Cold, partly cloudy skies. A late wintry mix on Saturday, changes to rain Saturday night and Sunday. Mid-40s on Monday, and the 6+ 6-day forecast. A very slow warming trend. 40s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Next weekend, perhaps, the following weekend, that is, highs near 50, so not much of a warm-up on the way.
No, we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to go from 70 to 40.
Everything always averages out, and now we're averaging all that warm weather we had.
It's true. Thanks, David. Still ahead on 6 News, experts on mental health just wrapped up a summit in Lansing on how to better treat our mental health patients. We have more local news for you right after the break. Thanks for watching 6 News at 11. Welcome back. Today, the state wrapped up a 2-day summit on mental health treatment options here in Michigan and how to get patients the treatment they need while keeping them out of jail. The DHHS and the Governor's Mental Health Diversion Council hosted the Mental Health and Criminal Justice Summit. Experts from around the country came to the capital city to discuss the relationship between mental illness, substance abuse, and jail, and the need for prevention, treatment, and support. Organizers say proper treatment for mental illness doesn't just help patients, it helps keep the community safe and reduces crowding and cost in the criminal justice system. Well, dozens of people joined Waverly school officials tonight for a discussion about the future of the vacant Windermere View building. That building was once an elementary school, but has since been empty since 2011. The district wanted public opinions on some of the options it has, including renovating the building or selling it to a developer or local municipality. Members of the public had some other ideas, like turning it into an older care community center or a fire and police training facility.
I thought people had good ideas that we hadn't thought of, and some nice suggestions to help improve the safety in the meantime. We're going to really investigate and see what's best for our community, best for our students, and maintain a healthy budget.
The district hopes to decide on the building's fate by June. Some bad weather between North and South Korea today thwarted President Trump's attempt to make a surprise visit to the demilitarized zone. His helicopter had to turn around and return to the city of Seoul due to fog. Since the end of the Korean conflict, U.S. presidents have often visited the DMZ as a show of resolve against the North. Also today, President Trump urged North Korean leaders to negotiate with the United States. Michigan Senators Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters are asking federal regulators to determine whether or not Enbridge Energy has violated safety requirements for the controversial Line 5 pipeline that runs under the Straits of Mackinac. They want the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration to investigate the recent revelation that the protective coating on that pipeline had degraded. Now, Enbridge knew about it back in 2014, but only reported it recently. The Lansing Parks and Recreation Department has announced it will work with the state DNR this year to remove some deer from the city and test them for chronic wasting disease. 9 deer with CWD have been found in Ingham County since May of 2015. The disease is fatal for deer, and though it has never been known to infect humans, a healthy deer population is very important for our state's economy. We'll keep it right here. We've got Fred Human coming up next with sports, and he's going to tell us Michigan State's football team took a major jump in tonight's college football playoff poll. That story is coming up next. Thanks for watching 6 News at 11.
This is 6 Sports.
On this first Tuesday in November, we at 6 Sports took a vote. We elect to lead with high school volleyball tonight, the regional phase of the state tournament, to St. John's High School, where 40-4 DeWitt faced Matawan. Panthers coach Christy Thalen on the floor before the game, getting her team warmed up. Panthers had all they could handle with these Matawan Wildcats. These two teams were in identical uniforms. Matawan took the first set, 25-16, but the Panthers roared back. What a resilient team. Matawan sets it up, and the Wildcats took some English off this return, but that's DeWitt's Desiree Becker in the front row, who wasn't fooled, made the return. DeWitt won the second and third sets, led 2-1. Here's the setup in front for Desiree Becker for the spike. The Panthers come back from down a set and win 3 straight to win the match 3-1. On to the regional finals Thursday night. Coach Jamie Ianni and her Chieftains of Okemos had a fine season here. The Chiefs on the left facing Richland Gull Lake. A great effort to keep this volley alive, but Gull Lake sets it up for Lexi Beakey on the front line. Her spike ends that first set. Chiefs fall behind 1-0. Okemos did play hard and tough here. The Chiefs are in the near court. They set it up very nicely for number 11, Bree Deloy. The Gull Lake had too many athletes. That was a powerful spike by Deloy, but Gull Lake just had too much. The final volley was endless. Gull Lake got the point of the set and the match 3-1. Richland Gull Lake to face DeWitt Thursday night at St. John's for the regional title. In tonight's college football playoff poll, the one that determines seeding for the postseason playoffs and the bowl games, Michigan State jumped 12 slots. So last week's 24th ranking to number 12 this week. That's the largest jump for any team in the 3-year history of this poll. In fact, the Spartans are 1 spot ahead of Saturday's opponent, as Ohio State is ranked 13th. But the odds makers in Las Vegas aren't convinced.
Ohio State comes out of a blowout loss, and you guys get a big win against the top 10 team, yet somehow you're a 16-point underdog. I mean,
it's gone 16, huh? Kind of a subtle dig by Coach D. The line did start at 15.5 yesterday. Hard to believe the struggling Buckeyes are favored by this much. We'll see on Saturday. It'll be quarterback Brian Lewerke's first trip to the Big Horseshoe in Columbus, and he is anticipating a very noisy environment.
Yeah, the coaches have told us that it's a loud place. It'll be loud like Michigan was. That kind of same type of environment with a lot of people. We're kind of just trying to focus on blocking out the noise and just blocking out, you know, the emotions that can sometimes run high when you're in that environment.
A tragedy in baseball today. A single-engine plane crashed into the Gulf of Mexico near Pasco County, Florida, and it took the life of former big league pitcher Roy Halladay, who was a star in the game for the Toronto Blue Jays and later for the Philadelphia Phillies. He was a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, won over 200 games, fired 2 career no-hitters, and took up flying in recent years. He retired from baseball in 2013. Family of 4, Roy Halladay was 40 years old. Hate to end it that way, Sherry, but that's sports.
All right, Fred, as you say, hug someone you love. We're going to be back with a final look at your forecast right after this. All right, get ready for it. I actually wore my winter coat back in tonight. It was so cold.
It's chilly tonight. When you look at the 6-day forecast, even Fred gets the coat out on Friday.
See, 26.
Look at that low. 26 degrees tomorrow morning. Got some snow showers in Thursday afternoon. Friday, 31 degrees. Almost makes me want to break out that picture of Fred shoveling snow, but not yet. 38 on Saturday, 40s on Sunday. Slow warming trend on Monday with some more rain showers. I don't have a lot of cold air beyond that. I mean, it's not like we've turned the corner. We're going downhill. I mean, we've got 50 in the forecast as well. So, I mean, there's milder weather and there's some sunshine on the way. But Thursday and Friday, you're gonna feel that.
Well, locate the hats and gloves and coats. All right, Fred. There's your warning.
No sleds yet, Fred. No sledding yet.
Thanks for staying up with us, and remember, all your up-to-date election results can be found at WLNS.com. Have a good night.